The next thing to talk about when talking about multimedia are movies or video. And we've already covered sort of how you can edit movies and video and make your movies and video. But what we haven't talked about are some of the different file formats. And so we're going to look at a little bit of that. I'm going to show you a few other cool resources like how to rip movies into different video formats, and then also how to get movies off of online, how to download movies from like YouTube or something like that. So if you look here, right, we have a couple of different video formats. We've got MP4, H.264, M4V, AVI, MOV, WMV, FLV, right? And these are all different sort of movie file formats. When you see different movie files, you will see that there will be, you know, like an MOV or MP4 or M4V. So just like we have different file formats for images like BMPs, PNGs, JPEGs, GIFs, and just like each of these file formats have different properties, it's the same way with, of course, audio and also with video. And so we have different files, and they're basically compression, they're basically codecs, right? So just like, you know, JPEG or a GIF has a way of taking an original image where there's this much information stored about each pixel and coming up with some algorithm to, you know, a formula to sort of remember all of that color data in a more concise way so the file size isn't so large. And then, you know, if computers know how to open a GIF file or a JPEG file, they'll know how to read those algorithms and then recreate the image or show us the image. And so we call those codecs, and codec stands for compression, decompression. And so we're taking data and we're compressing it, and then we also want to be able to decompress it. So again, just like that analogy where, you know, with the pictures, there's some file, you know, there's some way for us to take each pixel and come up with an algorithm, mathematical formula, like we looked at with the German flag or the French flag, for how can we store this color data in a more concise way. So just like we do that with images, we could also do that with audio and also with video. So if you go to the web and you search for most popular video format, you'll see like MPEG, WMV, MOV, AVI, MP4, and you can find different articles out there. And often the articles will talk about codecs, right, which is the compression, decompression algorithm, and then they'll talk about the different file formats. The program I use to make these videos, when I go to create the video, it gives me a couple of options, right? So the movies that I always create are MP4s. And so MP4 is a very popular format, and it's the default format actually for this program. So that tells you something, because here are people who make software, which is the best-selling screen capture software in the world, and by default they have you use MP4. And so MP4 is a really popular format, and it's a good quality file format. So it tells you here is the recommended format for online viewing. This format is compatible on multiple browsers, including Windows, Mac, and Linux. MP4 delivers high-quality video at a small file size. And then you have WMV is recommended for higher motion screen recordings, right? And, you know, you could pause this and read these if you want. MOV, right? You know, you could pause this and read this if you want. AVI, you could pause this and read this if you want, right? Same with M4V, you know, or MP3, which is audio only, or we could even make GIF animations. And recommended for producing short video clips which can be embedded in a web page or embedded into PowerPoint for playback during the presentation. So a couple of different choices there. Yeah, MP4 is the one I always go with, and maybe that's all you need to know. So I'm just going to close this here. What else can I tell you? Okay, so there's this program Handbrake, which is open source, and it's a video transcoder. So it'll take a video in one file format and turn it into another file format. So if you have a DVD, you could convert that to, you know, an MP4 if you wanted, and then you'd have your movie on a smaller file size. If you wanted to download movies from YouTube or the web, you could just go to Google and search for download movies from YouTube, and then I came to this website, which I've never used before, called KeepVid, and it allows you to download streaming videos. You just put in the URL of the video. But as always with any of this software, I've never used Handbrake. I've never used KeepVid. I've just learned about them right now by Googling for different things. But, you know, maybe KeepVid also installs some software in the video. I don't know. Is that even possible? It'd be something to look into before you download something and open it on your machine. You just want to make sure you understand what you're downloading and opening, because that's how you could potentially get viruses. All right, so that's a little bit about video. I think the last thing I'll say about it is with video, of course, you know, we talked about the compression, decompression, like coming up with some way to, with images, we talked about some way to reduce the file size, right? We come up with an algorithm to remember the data in some other way. And video is going to work similar at a basic level to what we looked at with images, because video is made up of images, and it's just a multiple number of images. And so, you know, when we talked about compressing an image with you know, just pictures, it could be similar with video, but instead of just looking at an XY plane, we're also looking through time, an XYZ plane, where we're looking through for color patterns maybe as frames continue through time. So that might be one of the ways those compression algorithms work. All right, so that's a little bit about video.